Hey everyone, Rick here. I just received my Freeblades figures in the mail the other day from Blue Table Painting. The figures themselves are produced by Dead General Society, or DGS Games, and they're for the Skirmish fantasy game Freeblades. I encourage you to check that out. And then I went ahead and backed one of their recent Kickstarter projects where I really loaded up. I tried to get at least one of everything and then multiples of some of the followers, so you'll have heroes and followers in this skirmish game. And so I try to get one of every hero that they produce and then a couple of each follower. If you've seen my previous videos, you may have seen me unbox these guys when I first got them in the mail from the Kickstarter, and then I shipped them all off to Blue Table Painting and had them paint them up for me. So these are done at a 4-6 split, so 4 for the followers and 6 for the heroes. Now this whole front line here is going to be black Thorn bandits. These 6 guys on the end, front row and back row, and these 12 here can be used for either the black Thorn bandits, which are those, and the black Rose bandits, which are these 7 on the end here. So I set that up just to show that those 6 are just black Thorn. These middle 12 can be used by either faction, and then these 7 are Black Rose Bandits. Then also, just up front here, are some miscellaneous figures. You could use them in the game or for their soon-to-be released, I don't know how soon, RPG Brightsword. We have a Legionnaire, a Merchant, a Necromancer, and a Snake Mystic, if I'm not mistaken. And then these are all separated by free band. So this free band here is Grular. And so if you see figures with similar poses, they're probably followers. And then the individual guys are heroes. And this is the only free band right now that has a mounted unit. That's just 2 different poses of the same actual figure. And then it does have a creature there, Zackerlash. Then we have Haradel, which is one of my favorite factions, just because I like the knights and their different armors. And then I also like the peasantry that gets called up using their bows and thrashing devices. And then you have the typical soldiers in there too. And then we have Falkar. This could, with a little bit more fleshing out, I think be a close runner-up for my favorite free band. They have the kind of the knightly look to them as well, soldiers, sailors, and then they have just some really awesome poses to their figures. This is one of the newer factions, Yurdagar or Yurdagger, one of the two. Or a third option that I just can't pronounce. And they're kind of like almost like a Viking type. One with the land. You see they have a lot of furs and pelts and things. There are a lot of great poses in there also. And then over here we have Trillius. They're kind of the elven, foresty people. And there are some awesome figures there as well. And I just love the forest swarm of forest creatures. Then we have some Dryads. So in addition to free band versus free band scenarios, there are some really cool creature scenarios they're coming out with. One is one that incorporates Dryads. Another is a demon infestation. So these guys back here are Placras. The one in the middle is an alpha Placra. And that big guy back there is a Golat. Then we have the Vecule and the Young Grush, and they can all be used for creature hunt scenarios where you have a free band against one of those. And you could play those solo if you wanted to. That's fun to do. But otherwise, you pick a free band. All the different figures are worth gold points or gold coins, so you have a certain amount of gold to spend to create your free band out of the figures in each faction, and then you and a friend or friends face off against each other in just kind of a free-for-all or scenario, or you can incorporate the creatures, which I just thought is such a cool idea. And of course back there I have my Foreground Terrain, and I haven't done this yet, but I'd love to end up playing a game that incorporates the buildings, because this foreground stuff is so awesome. So like what I would do might be to hide a loot token under the bed, or a party that's not playing in the game might go through here and maybe hide loot tokens somewhere in the buildings. So your thieves and other figures, while the big guys are fighting on the outside, they sneak inside and try to get the loot that's in the village. I just think that'd be awesome. It lends itself really well to custom scenarios. And man, DGS Games is all about expanding what you can do with these figures. There's so many different games and rule sets that are on the horizon. So if you're not into skirmish games, you want larger army games, they're coming out with that. You're into role-playing games, they're going to have a role-playing game system. There's even a sea combat game, I understand, and also something called Freeblades Arena, which I'm sure the Legionnaire will do really nicely in. So I'll just kind of be quiet and maybe get up closer on some of these figures. It's kind of hard for me to tell if it's really focusing all that well. So like these three guys here and the three right behind him, those would be done at a level 4. Whereas these 7 here, the hero figures, would be done at a level 6. I think all 4 of those guys were at level 6. I love this Necromancer guy, holding what appears to be somebody's spinal cord with their skull still attached at the front. That's just that's so great. This is probably maybe my favorite figure of the whole lot, just because he seems to have a lot of personality, and I love his shield. But even some of these just generic level 4s look awesome. Their facial detailing is actually really well done. If any of you are Blue Table Painting fans and you watch their YouTube channel, the painter that did this entire thing for me is named Julie. You see her every once in a while. She, I think, does a lot of her work from home, and then she brings it to the studio. But I just can't say enough about Blue Table Painting. I've used them so many times. I've used other services also, but you can't beat Blue Table Painting's quality for the price and for the time. I can't remember exactly when I sent these away, but the turnaround was great. The communication was awesome. I mean, I had Sean Gately emailing me you know, unprovoked, letting me know things when I didn't even instigate the conversation. He would actually have to tell me to email them, so I could be kept up to date with everything. But I just trust them so much. They've always done me right, and now I have this awesome Freeblades force. And obviously, what someone would probably do is they would just potentially collect 1 or 2, maybe 3 different free bands of their favorites so they can try out a couple things. I just kind of went for it all, just so, you know, I could have my own stockpile. I can choose from anything in the game, and then I gave myself options, which is why I went for 3 of the followers. Some of the followers, there's no cap, just whatever the gold point limit is. But I thought 3 was a good round number, so any of the free bands I have, I could have a decent number of followers to pick from, and of course get at least one of every hero they make. Now this isn't it, as a matter of fact. There's a couple other figures DGS has released for some of these free bands that I hadn't yet gotten, and also the free band for the faction, or for the Kickstarter that they had that I backed. It was the Kuzark Forgers, which are dwarves. So I have a whole nother free band to add to this once they're finished being painted, and a couple other figures to flesh out some of these free bands, like Falkar. There's a Sheriff's Levy, and what else? Was there something else? I can't remember. I know the Thief was a relatively new figure. A couple different poses on that one, and it looks really great. You can do it like a gem in the hand, or you could do the bag of loot. And honestly, the Black Thorn Bandits are looking pretty cool. I love the Illusionist. The Black Thorn Bandit leader just is a great looking figure. Bounty Hunter, Bodyguard. You have the kind of a dwarf, that guy, the Huskarl or something along those lines. Mercenary Crossbowman. And then just some of the generic figures, the Rustlers, the Thugs, the Outlaws. I have to say, some of my favorite figures that DGS has put out for the game are some of their female sculpts. The female Outlaw looks awesome, and some of the female warriors look great. Of course, the Black Rose Bandit. Black Rose herself. But yeah, so I just love them. I have been looking for a fantasy skirmish game that basically Freeblades fit the bill really nicely. So thanks for watching. I know I promised this video when I first got these figures in, and I'm happy to have them in my possession now. And thanks to DGS Games, they're just an amazing company. Their communication's top-notch, and they've helped me out with any issues I might have. So they produce a great product, and Blue Table Painting produces a great service. So again, thank you for watching, and until next time.